everyone, and thank you so much for tuning into this video. My name is Jada Brown Thompson. First thing that you want to do when you're relocating and trying to find a place to rent is you want to know how much you can afford, right? Because you don't want to go on somewhere like apartments.com or Zillow and look at these places that are out of your budget and you don't realize they're out of your budget, because you may be able to afford somewhere that's $2,000, but you're looking at places that are $3,000 or $4,000, falling in love with these places, and then you may apply and you may waste your money, you may waste the landlord's time, and you really don't want to do that. So you want to really get a sense of how much you can afford before you even start looking. So what I would advise you to do is, number one, get your job offer letter, and you're going to have a firm grasp on how much your monthly income is and how much your yearly income is, right? And so once you do that, then you need to get a grasp of your budget. How much can you afford based on how much you are making from your income? And you can do this like really rough estimate, because of course once you move, maybe those numbers are a little different, but just base it on your lifestyle now. Like, do you have a bigger budget for entertainment? Do you have, a bigger budget for clothes? Maybe you like to shop. How much do you spend on your car payment? How much is your insurance going to be? Get all of those things and, make maybe like an Excel spreadsheet. You can also do pen to paper, old school way, whatever that method is. But get a grasp of your expenses, and then once you do that, then figure out how much can I afford to pay for rent. Now, keep in mind that the experts recommend that you don't spend more than 30% of your monthly income on rent. So whatever that is for you. And then also know that the industry average for landlords are that you make 2.5 to 3 times the monthly rent in your monthly income, right? So for example, if you make, let's say, $6,500 gross a month, then you can typically afford somewhere that's $2,000 a month. But just because that's what you can afford based on your gross income, maybe you can't afford that much because you like to spend more on clothes and you like to spend more on entertainment or whatever that is for you. Or maybe you can afford just a little bit more than 30% because, you are you're a minimalist, or, you don't spend as much. Maybe you don't have a car. So whatever that looks like for you, right? So once you know how much you can afford, now it's time for you to get organized, right? I like to recommend that people get their paperwork together before they start looking, because really everywhere is going to be looking for the same information from you. So it's best that you have everything together. So I would recommend having your job offer letter, having like that saved in your email, PDF, and also having a physical copy. Everywhere is going to want to see how much are you going to get paid, right? If you are like a remote employee and you're just relocating, or you're just relocating in general and you're staying with the same job, then I would recommend having 4 to 6 pay stubs that you have saved, your most recent ones. You should also have the physical stub as well. Also, have your government issued ID, whether that's your license, passport, your state ID, whatever it is. You're going to need some official identification that says, yes, this is who I am. Now, if you're going to be applying for, low income places or places that are regulated by some type of program, then you'll need a lot more information. And I have another video about that, but I'll just say it quickly here. For low income places, you're going to need your government issued ID. You're going to also need your social security card. If you have children, you will need their social security card, their birth certificate letters, whatever form of income that you have, they'll need verification of it. If you're coming with a job offer letter, they will do an employment verification for you. You're going to need, if you have under $5,000 in assets, you'll need your last 2 checking account bank statements. And if you have over $5,000 in assets, then they'll need your most recent 6 bank statements. and then your most recent saving account statements. And if you have like a 401k or anything like that, they'll also need your quarterly statement. So if you want more information about that program, I have another video about it. I'll probably upload one soon. But for now, just know that you need to organize your paperwork. Okay? And then next, after you know how much you can afford and you gather your paperwork, now it's time for you to start looking for housing, which is the fun part, right? Especially for me as a realtor, like I love it. But anyway, you need to decide how you want to attack you looking for a new place. So what does that look like for you? If you are out of state and you're moving, are you going to hire a realtor or are you going to do it on your own? Now, to me personally, I feel like you need to hire a realtor if you are relocating from out of the area, because what a realtor can help you do is learn the area. Number one, a realtor knows their area, they know their market, and they can also help you based on what you're looking for. And that's another thing. You need to write down what you want from the place that you're going to be living in, and that realtor can help you find it. So if you're a young professional, do you want a gym in your community? Do you want to be within walking distance because you don't have a car? Do you like to host? You know, what does that look like for you? If you're a family, do you want to be near parks? Do you need to be within walking distance to grocery stores? What are those schools like and rated in that area? So a realtor can really help you with that if you're relocating, especially a good realtor, right? They know the subway lines, they know the public transportation, they know the area. They can help you once you have those things that you are looking for. They can help you find it. They can also do video tours for you, so you can call them on Zoom or FaceTime and do those walkthroughs without having to physically be present. So those are the benefits of having a realtor. And then at the same time, you don't have to pay them. So it's somebody that you're working with and that can help you, and they're working for free. So I really definitely recommend hiring a realtor. If you're in the DC metro area, you can hire me. I can help you with those things. And then if you decide to do it on your own, then you might have a little more trouble. So what I recommend if you're going to be doing this alone is that, one, visit if you can and see what areas that you like, that have the vibe that you like in the city. And then I also recommend going to a place that's professionally managed, right? Because when you're going to these like private landlords, it's best to work with a realtor, because a realtor can put in an offer for you and cut through trying to call or text, email, message on like Zillow and things like that. That realtor can go ahead and just put that offer in for you, because that landlord may have just one house that you're looking to get and you have to compete with everywhere else. Whereas somewhere that's professionally managed and is like a community, they may have, 14 vacancies in a building as opposed to just one. So if you're going to do this on your own, I recommend going to a community that's professionally managed, a building, that may have multiple vacancies for you. And they also have a leasing office there on site that you can call and speak to someone on the leasing team, and they can help you. They can offer virtual tours. They can send you the application online that you can fill out for that unit that you want. And it makes it a lot easier for you as opposed to working with a private landlord, where this may just be like their side, job, their whatever. They just, for investment purposes, it's not like, they're there every day on site. So that's what I really recommend. I also do want to point out, when you're working with a realtor and getting those private landlords, usually you just do one application with the realtor and it has all of your information, and you're not just applying to every place, because that can get really expensive. As opposed to working with the community, every community you go to, you're going to have to do an application. And so that can get really expensive because most times applications can range from like $25 to $50. Plus there is that holding fee. So you can, and the holding fee can, you know, be $100, $200. So you can quickly, you know, add up the fees when you're applying to these different communities. So another thing that I really want to stress is to know what you're looking for, right? You need to have a firm grasp on what's important to you when you're looking for housing. So does the community or the neighborhood need to have a gym, grocery store, shopping? You know, do you need a business lounge? Do you need a community room? Does that community need to have events because you really like to network with people that you're living by? Does it need to be a pool? All of these things you need to know when you start looking at these different communities. And I strongly emphasize that you ask them the hours of these rooms, because you don't want to think, okay, it's 24 hours for me to use the gym, and then you find out it really closes at 5 and you get off at 6. So you never get the opportunity to use the amenities that you're paying for, right? And that brings me to my next point is you need to know how much these places are charging for these different fees, right? I've worked in property management for a long time. These fees, these ancillary fees, are a lot of time how these companies make money, right? So like I told you before, you need to know how much you can afford, right? So let's say you can afford $2,000 a month and you find a place that is $2,000 a month for the rent. Great. You're like, oh yeah, I can afford this and I want to move forward with the application. And then, you know, the first month you're hit with a bill, and on your resident portal, you see, oh no, it's actually $2,300. Now you're spending over budget. So you need to make sure that you know all of the ancillary fees that this community charges, right? You need to know how much they charge for parking, how much they charge for the amenity fee, how much they charge for the pet fee, if they charge for storage, if they charge for trash, because a lot of times they do, and you want to make sure that you know it. So maybe you have to find a place that's really $1,700 and then have these fees on top of it. So that's really important for you guys to know. And make sure you ask for the tenant selection criterion so you know what those fees are, because they can get real sneaky really fast. Even think about laundry. If you don't have laundry in your unit and you have to go to the basement and it costs $2 per laundry load, that adds up each week. So make sure that you're adding that and you're thinking of it when you're selecting a place.